Lovely. You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye. Lovely. Lovely. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
I wish you well.
But I'm just trying to do I'm just trying to do this. I want to do the crystal quests, and everywhere I go, I keep running into devil sores. So I just keep killing them, and I'm not a skinner. So I messaged the general, and I just said, hey, if anybody wants to skin a devil sore, there's a dead devil sore here. And so this guy gets in my group, and so he comes over and skins it. He's like, thanks, that's got no problem. And then every 5 feet I run, I keep running into more. I've killed, I think, 4 devil sores. And I'm not like even looking for them. They just seem to be right in my path. And so he keeps coming. I keep saying, I was like, man, I'm sorry, there's another one here. So he keeps coming over and skinning these devil sores. I think I've made him like 20 gold. I think they're 4 gold up skin. So I think I've already made this dude like 20 gold in like the last 20 minutes. And these damn devil swords just keep popping up. It's pretty funny. This healing's weird. Doesn't look right. Let me try something here. I'm gonna put my pet on passive. This guy's even doing any damage to me. He's not really doing any damage to me. Okay, there he did a little. Now he's doing a little damage. Keeps disarming me. That was interesting. Like when I used my counterattack there, my pet actually started to attack, which makes me wonder. My counterattack macro has... It does have pet attack in it, which makes sense that when I counterattack a mob... Actually, no, that really doesn't make any sense. I don't ever want my pet to attack automatically. I want to be in complete control of when I make my pet attack. Wow, yeah. I'm gonna dump this quest. I don't care about super sticky. Angoro. Let's abandon this. I don't want to take the time to kill these because all I'm here for is to complete the crystal quest. So we can get our crystals.
Hey there. Safe travels. See you later. See you around.
Screwed up that window sign.
How are you? Have a good one.
My pet is hungry and my inventory is a mess. Is there anything we can get rid of? Something.
I got what you need.
Let's get rid of the silk. I don't need this. I have so many damn lock boxes that I need somebody to open all these damn things because I don't need them.
You're a tall one. Very good. Be seeing you. Good day to you. Off and away.
Alright, so we need yellow crystals, blue crystals. I have a headache still today, so we're going to turn down the volume of the game quite a bit. And try to just listen to some chill music while we do some chill things. Oh, my head is killing me. Maybe we'll get some herbs around here. Lined weed. Is that mountain silver sage? Very nice. Looks like it. Looking for ungorl soil too. We need ungorl soil and crystals. You know, I was in bed this morning with my massive headache that I've had since yesterday, and I was actually thinking about World of Warcraft, and it was strange thoughts popped into my head this morning. And what they were, and I know I've bitched about WoW a lot over the past couple of years about how much I hate what the game's turned into, and how I really wish there was a new MMO to play. And but what popped into my head this morning was kind of surprising me, and what it was I started thinking about the things about World of Warcraft that I do like, things that I've always loved about the game, and I think the reason I play solo a lot is because I really enjoy the, which is funny. I never thought I would when I first played the game. I really enjoy the world, just walking through the world and seeing the zones and the trees and, the cliffs, the mountains, whatever, the creatures. I actually really, of course, I think that's something I enjoy about just the genre in general. But, yeah, it struck me this morning that I think the biggest reason I play WoW is because I find it very relaxing just moving through the game, through the zones and stuff, I really enjoy it. And I thought, man, I should really make a video on, why I love World of Warcraft, because I played the game more than any other game I've ever played. I spent more time in WoW than probably than all other games combined almost. Well, that'd be hard. Unreal Tournament, I spent like 3 years playing, but it would be a lot of time. So, but yeah, definitely just the zones, I like, and every time a new expansion comes out, I think that's because I don't ever expect retail to be a good version of WoW, really, but I think that's the reason I play the expansions. It actually 100% is the reason I play the expansions. Well, there's always that 1% of you that thinks, oh, maybe they'll fix some of the issues the game has, but of course it's like, I mean, you know that's not going to happen. You're just like, well, I hope it'll happen, so you don't want to somehow miss the opportunity that they could make changes to the game that would push it back in a better direction, but deep down inside that's not going to happen. But the biggest reason I play the expansions is I'm always curious to see the zones. I always want to see what the new zones look like, what the new monsters look like. That's the stuff that I love, And I would like to say that the War Within zones were actually really, really good. And some of the new creatures and monsters that you fight in the War Within, I especially love the bumblebees. There's these like bumblebees that you fight. They're actually really cool. Pretty dangerous too, but the new zones I like quite a bit. I think they're really constructed very nicely, especially that when you fly down beneath the ground and you fly to that one zone where there's like this big huge there's like a day-nighttime cycle all based on this big crystal, man. Biggest issue they ever had was getting medicine back and not having. Yeah, I agree. Hey Vals, what's up? Yeah, I agree. They should have. It's so frustrating. Every time I play the game, I can't but help be frustrated because there's so much potential, dude. There's so much potential to create something so special that would captivate so many people. The potential's there, and they just. I'm not sure that. I don't want to say that they don't want to do it as much as I'm not sure they even know how to do it. I've lost faith in the fact that Blizzard understands what is the core audience. Like, there's tons of people who think that this is good or that's good or this is Classic Plus, and everybody has their own ideas, but there's definitely a core ideal that the people who grew up playing the game, since the beginning, have a pretty common ground on, like what they think Classic Plus really means. And I think when you think about Classic Plus, you're thinking about making the game feel like it's originally did in vanilla, And to make it feel like that, there's certain things you just cannot change. You can't start going in and mucking with the systems, the core systems. You can't go in and say, well, I'm going to completely create the talent system. No, that's not Classic Plus. You can't go in and say, I'm going to completely change the difficulty, like on a drastic scale and make it like a lot easier, for example. Because then again, that's not Classic Plus, really. You're getting away from why people loved vanilla, That's what Classic Plus should be, and that's what it should be. Classic Plus, you shouldn't change. I don't think they ever need to change the level, right? What I would like to see him do, and this might be, I would almost like to see him go the Black Desert route and just say, okay, we're not going to add like new continents or anything like that. We're just going to expand upon the world that we have. But we're going to change it so that you can level, but it's going to be like, ridiculously slow. Meaning like, if you just killed mobs nonstop every day for like a month, maybe instead of being 60, you'll be like 60.2, right? You know what I mean? So like if you just killed mobs nonstop for like, 6 months, maybe you'd be 61. And the only thing you'd get out of being 61 is you'd get a slight increase to your chance to crit, a slight increase to your chance to hit. And that's about it. You just get a slight increase to maybe hit, crit, and, and maybe a slight increase to your defense. No additional damage. No additional damage. I mean, obviously, getting a crit would be a side effect, so you would get additional damage from that. But just making your character slightly stronger, just because yeah, or maybe like +1 to every stat. Yeah, something very, very, very minor. And the cool thing about that is make it incredibly difficult. And what's cool about that is that people know that even though there is no direct new expansion where you can level from 60 to 65, there still is leveling. You still can, in effect, level. It's just really ridiculously hard to do it. You know what I mean? And some people won't even bother with it really because it's so grindy, and some people will. And some people you'll just get it as an effect of doing whatever it is you're doing dungeons or doing your daily stuff, whatever you do. You're still going to level. So, because I'm one of those people that would actually enjoy leveling in that system. I'm one of those people that could log in, kill monsters for 8 hours, and log off and see that instead of 60.00%, I'm 60.02 or 60.04% or 60. It'd be something really small, like 60.02. Let's figure it out. Let's see if we can. I'm not, me, my math isn't the best in the world, but let's say if you played 8 hours a day killing mobs nonstop every day for 6 months, how many? Okay, so a month has 30 days. Let's just say a month on average has 30 days. So 8 hours a day for 30 days, right? Is 30 times 8. That's 240. So that's for 1 month. Let's say then you take that times 6. Okay, so this is how many hours you need, just killing, for example, to gain a new level from 60 to 61. So what's the percentage of 8 hours out of that? So I guess if my math is right, correct me if I'm wrong here, wouldn't you take 8 and divide it by 1440? And that's going to, and I believe that's the percent, right? So then if you take 5 repeating, right? What was it? Let's see, it was 30 times 8 equals times 6 equals, and times 0.0055 should be around 8. So let's say I spent 8 hours a day grinding, so I'm not going to be 60 at the end of the day, I'm going to be 60.0055, right? That would be my, but to me, I would do that and I'd be, oh, cool, man, because that. And then the other thing you do is you add the Black Desert leaderboard, okay? So when you log on, you can check a leaderboard that shows the levels of people that are currently logged in your shard. Like if you're doing sharding or layering or whatever, you could pull up a leaderboard and it would show the top 20 highest level characters. Because they have that in Black Desert, and it's a nice little thing that gives people kind of like something to race for, something to strive for. Oh, I want, because you might have something, so you might see somebody on there that's like 60.10%. You're like, oh man, that fucker's really leveling. You know what I mean? 60.10. So anyways, I would do that. I would add that into the game. I think it would just be a neat little additional mechanic that people could strive towards. And the PvPers would do it because the calculation in PvP would be slightly different. You know what I mean? Like if you're 61 and someone's 60, well then of course you're going to have a slightly better chance to hit. Maybe your chance to crit slightly better. Those types of things. And very slight. You'd have to modify it, right? You'd have to do some changes to how those calculations are made because they wouldn't be the base ones that exist in WoW. Because it'd be too strong. You couldn't do like the basic what's the crit chance of a level 59 versus a level 58, versus a level 58 versus a level 59. You know what I mean? That the difference there, the variance would be too great. So you'd have to be something much smaller. Like maybe say instead of my, if I go to my crit, if I'm level 60 if I'm level 61 and my crit rate, and I'm fighting someone who's level 60, my crit chance instead of what it is right now at 14% is maybe 14.29. So maybe I get 1/4% more crit. You know what I mean? Something minor. But still, it's It's something, right? It's something. Yeah, and I mean, to me, that alone, that system alone would give certain, because there's certain hardcore people out there who would appreciate that, and I'm one of those people. Plus, it gives you something that makes you want to stay in the game, because it's a system that makes you have, because it's going to make you have to put in so much effort and time to level that you're not going to want to leave the game, because you're like, man, I put some time and effort into this. I don't want to leave my character. You know, this is too important. Anyways, the cool thing about Classic Plus would be that the whole purpose of Classic Plus would just be to add existing new content to the game. So, you know, Blizzard doesn't have to worry about creating expansions. All of the development goes towards just adding cool new content to the existing world, you know. And you could add this other stuff too. I mean, you could add a new profession. Just expanding upon the professions would be amazing for Classic Plus. You know, just adding the ability to craft a bow, the ability to craft better stuff. You know, I mean, look at blacksmithing, for example. I mean, how many pieces of mail bracers can you make for levels 1 to 10 in blacksmithing? Like what, 0? Like I can't even think of a single bracer you can craft in blacksmithing from level 1 to 10. I'm not even sure if one exists. I mean, so there's so much stuff that could be fleshed out on crafting. So my head's killing me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if I understood what you're saying there. You're saying I'd be the guy in for 70. Also, add gear like the Inisi cloak where you need that cloak to. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, add like, I mean, I hate to say that only bad part about that is you are creating kind of like these gatekeepers or these gates where you have to get past to. So there's like stopgaps in your progression. I think that's fine. I mean, as long as it's just like specific things, you know, obviously you can still do lots of stuff in the game, but for a specific thing, there is something that you have to kind of get past, or it'll be difficult for you to get past that particular, you know, goal or whatever. So yeah, but and then just keep adding stuff, and then you can add like a new class to the game, but do it like once. I'd say add like a new class to the game like once every like maybe 2 years or 3 years. You know, because think about this. Think about World of Warcraft. What if you release Classic Plus? I'll say you release Classic Plus next year, 2026. Then let's say in 2020, every 2 years. Let's say every 2 years. Then in 2028, you release a new class. So you don't say press no new classes. I'm not sure what you mean by press. I still think adding a new class would be a good thing. I mean, just something that's like, it doesn't have to be super different though, right? Think about it. It doesn't have to really affect the game in a negative way, right? Think about if you added, because what's missing in World of Warcraft, right? Well, the Death Knight kind of broke World of Warcraft. I mean, to a degree. When Death Knights came out, they were way too powerful. They broke PvP. Everybody had to have a Death Knight. Death Knights were pretty much dominated. I mean, they just broke the game, to be honest. Is that what it's called, a prestige class? Oh, I see what you're saying. So would it be a class so it would be like a class change quest. Like, let's say you're a paladin and you want to morph into like a different class. Yeah, that's a good idea. So it wouldn't be an entirely new class. It would be like a leveling path off your current one. So it'd be like, okay, you're level 60 paladin. We're going to create the ability in this update to allow a level 60 paladin to go through some really crazy, lengthy, grindy quest chain or something to maybe learn a new specialization. So it's not a new class. It'd be like a new specialization. Yeah, if you went through some sort of long quest where you killed some people, you did some evil things that a paladin shouldn't be doing, you turned into like some sort of a fallen paladin. Yeah, I like that better. You're right. That's actually better. Yeah, like what I would do, and then I'd have something like where a priest could become like a bard, for example, or maybe a rogue. I think the rogue would be better. A rogue could go down this long quest chain and he could become a bard. He got sick. He got sick of killing and doing violence, and he decided he just wanted to become a performer and sing in pubs and stuff or something. You know what I mean? And along with that, he learned he wanted, instead of killing people, he wanted to heal people, right? So now you've got the new rogue class change or like specialization of like bard or something. You know what I mean? Which is more of just a buffing class, like a healer buffer class. Is that what so Warcraft 3 had stuff like that? Hunter to Dark Ranger. Yeah, but I mean, I think, yeah, so those are things. There's so much. Sorry, I can't talk too much. It's hurting. It hurts to talk. Sorry, I just got a sharp pain behind my right eye. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do in WoW that for like Classic Plus that don't in any way require you to have a new leveling cap. You know, you're still level 60, and it's so cool because there's so many things you can do that would make the game so cool. You know, and also I think it creates more creativity, right? Like the expansions aren't creative. Creating new expansions and saying, oh, you're going to level from 80 to 85 this expansion. Next expansion, you're going to level from 85 to 90. I mean, it's not really creative. They're just like, every expansion they got to figure out, well, what are we going to add? Like, what new abilities are we going to give the class? I mean, it's a little bit like a broken record, I guess, you know. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is immersion breaking. Yeah, I don't want to add. We don't want to change the game, right? Like, we want to live in a world where the Alliance is the Alliance, the Horde is the Horde, right? Yeah, that's the other thing, too. With Classic Plus, you're releasing content the gamut. Like, you're releasing like, that's one of the cool things that Turtle WoW did, right? Is you released new zones for characters that were like levels 1 to 20. Like, you release content for across the board. It's not just end game, like you said. Like in all the expansions, it's always about adding stuff at end level, which causes the one problem in WoW, which is that all of the low level zones become just dead, right? Because a lot of people don't. There's always going to be people that reroll, especially if you create a new class. That's, you know, like the Brewmaster or something, the Panda, whatever it was called, Monk class, for example. Everybody's going to play Monk, right? Because it's new, but that's not what you want. You know, you want the world to always feel alive. That's why on a hardcore server, the world always feels better because people are constantly dying, which means they're constantly leveling up from level 1, which means the low-level zones feel alive all the time. It also means that when you're starting from level 1, you have to level your professions all over again, which means there's a need for low-level crafting regions and profession regions, which makes the economy better. So if you constantly are adding content to the lower-level areas, people are going to want to create new characters to level up because they want to experience those areas. You know what I mean? And also, you know, if you don't have to look very far. I mean, Turtle WoW has already shown that if you create this type of stuff, that there's a huge amount of demand for it. Turtle WoW got so popular their server was dying because it was just so many people. I mean, there were like 14, 15,000 people on their server, you know, and it was lagging like crazy, right? So, I mean, Blizzard's just missing this huge opportunity to make, you know, to make a groundbreaking, you know, game. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know that when I played on Everlook, because Everlook came out right around the time Blizzard pulled out of China. So all of a sudden, Everlook, I think Everlook might have been launched right before that happened. And then once China, like, yeah, then once China dropped them, all of a sudden Everlook became like 60% Chinese. And it was no fun because I couldn't talk to anybody because they were speaking a different language, obviously. Anyways, I think that's why so many people are. I think that's why so many private server projects are starting, because so many people want to try to do something like a Classic Plus, but most people don't have the ability and the talent and the staff to do it. The only person who can really pull it off in a really good way, really, I mean, is Blizzard. I do think that, you know, Ascension WoW has their new stuff that they're doing, the Conquest of Azeroth, but I just don't think it's, from what I've played of it, it's not what I'm looking for. So selling their IP, why would they sell their IP? No, why would they do that? Blizzard's not actually selling game rights, but the situation is more nuanced. While not a sale of IP, Blizzard has proposed to divest cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft, and there are reports from multiple companies bidding for StarCraft license. This means other companies could potentially publish new StarCraft games under a license. Okay, so they're not selling their IP. They could reach an agreement. Says that they would still retain ownership of StarCraft IP, while a licensed company would be responsible for developing and publishing games. So I'm not really sure what they would be selling. It says divest, though. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that means. I don't know if that means that they would still have control. Like, yeah, other companies could publish StarCraft content, but would they be able to veto it? Would they still be like, have a veto ability to say like, hey, what you're trying to publish is not in line with what we think StarCraft is? Would they still have that power? That's the thing that I would want to know, because that doesn't really tell me in that article or that text there, if that's the case or not. So. Not if Trump has anything to do with it. Can Trump charge a tariff on video games? What about that? How does that work? What if is China's like creating all these games for people to buy in the U.S.? Does China have to pay the U.S. like money? Is a video game considered a goods or service? Yeah, well, I think Blizzard's really kind of dropped the ball on StarCraft. They really have kind of left it, they haven't done anything with StarCraft. They haven't really put any time into it. They put most of their effort into WoW because they know that's their biggest audience. But StarCraft has got a huge following, like you said. So I always thought they would put out another game because StarCraft is massively popular. Like, massively popular in, like, those other countries. So yeah, I thought for sure that would be something they would do, but I don't know. Whoever runs Blizzard, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't agree with what they're doing. Blizzard's making a lot of mistakes in my opinion, like a lot. And it starts at, instead of having so many employees at Blizzard, start hiring better employees. Start hiring quality employees. That's what Steve Jobs did. Steve Jobs really was about hiring really good employees who knew what they were doing. And making sure people understood the vision. And Steve Jobs, when he came back to Apple, when he was gone, he started cracking heads, and making sure that the right people were in the right places, and not Trump, but Elon Musk sort of kind of was that way, but he's just, I don't know what's going on with Musk. I think his money or I don't know I think he's part alien or something. Musk is just a weird guy, So he's bizarre, but oh yeah. Did somebody put Nicki Minaj in Call of Duty? I did not know that. That's kind of pathetic, but I had to turn the music off because it's actually hurting my head. Yeah, so I don't know. I think Classic Plus is just the greatest opportunity for Blizzard to make a really good game that people would really get super into. Like, it'd be huge. Like, if they were able to create something. And the problem they're going to run into, the problem with a lot of video game companies, MMO makers anyway, is they want to work with the community, but the community is so diverse. Like, everything that I think would be good for MMO, there's going to be tons of people that would completely disagree with me. But I'm talking from an area of a lot of knowledge of MMOs, and I think that my ideas would be good for the greater audience. You know what I mean? I think that what I would come up with would be accepted by a large amount of people. Might not be everybody might not like it, but I think that a large amount of people would. And also, I think that some people that don't think they would like it might find out that they would like it once they really started down that track of playing the game. What is this? Here to Gorge. I don't even know what this quest is. Find the prayer to balloon. I have to Google some of these just because I'm having a hard time getting them completed. Corruption. Ritual totem. 50, yeah. Spider AK abandoned this one.
Interesting.
Creepy looking hunter. Yeah, but I do that all the time. Let's see. I'm thinking about what Classic Plus would be, and I know we have. I don't even have file. Oh. Here's our article. Here's what we did with what I want in a modern MMO. I probably shouldn't have installed the .NET runtime, but it's okay. So I mean, easy. I mean, we've got easy wins, right? Easy wins for classic, classic plus. Things that I think everybody would want to see. Fix glaring issues with classes, right? Palette and font. I mean, these are things that I would definitely do in Classic Plus. I would make, obviously fix glaring issues with classes. You know what I mean? Like Paladins, Paladins not having a taunt, obviously is a big one. I would fix the gameplay for Boomy and Feral. I think Boomy needs some work. I think Feral's gameplay, there's some issues with Feral combat that I think could be, and I'm not an expert in Feral, so for me, I would have to actually pull in a bunch of Feral experts on this to talk to them about it, but I definitely think there's room for improvement on Feral combat and how it works. Make protection, tank specs, viable in PvP and in PvE as a DPS/support, right? And it's really easy to make them, viable. Let's make them viable. Let's break this up, right? I wish I could do can I do, here, let's go. I don't know the... I don't know the markdown. Let's see. Test. Yeah, I'm getting on a sidetrack, but so make protection, tank specs viable in PvP. How would we do that? How would you do that? I mean, to me, to make and I wish, like I said, I wish I could do what's the word? A bulleted list. Great. Bullet list in VS code markdown. Ugh. Whatever. So, here, we'll put a star. That's our bullet, right? How do you make a protection tank spec viable in PvP? I mean, to me, it's all about control, right? Control. A tank should bring control. So control via, either stuns, now again, when I talk about stuns, no longer than 3 seconds. To me, like in PvP, there should be no CC of any kind that lasts longer than 3 seconds. And I've always been a big proponent of that because I don't like loss of control of characters because I just don't think it's any fun. I don't like when you're sitting at your keyboard, you want to sit there doing nothing for 8 seconds. It's just not fun. And if you get chained, right? Let's say a priest fears you, right? I was actually in Ultrarog Valley, Valst, and a rogue sapped me. And did you know that in Classic WoW and PvP, if a rogue saps you, it's like a freaking like 30-second or 20-second sap? I mean, it's long, right? I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit there for 30 seconds or a minute doing nothing. That's just stupid, right? Anyways, but to make protection tanks viable in PvP, I think there should be some control versus stun, you know, so obviously, and it should be based around their shield. So shield slam, we could say, you know, 2 second stun, right? And it could be a 3-second stun based on talent point, right? So you have a talent point that you put in there that makes your shield slam become like longer, and it doesn't have to be 3, whatever. You know, we could just say talent points. You know, talent points can increase points to increase, you know, stun duration, right? What else would tanks do in PvP that would make them viable? Well, I think you protect, right? Protect. So protect other players. So, and you already have that kind of to a certain degree with a warrior and in a WoW you have intercept, right? So let's say intercept player, basically intercept player to, you know, take, I can't think of the word, intercept player to absorb damage that otherwise would have hit that player, right? And then, you know, pull mechanics. Pull mechanics are kind of cool. You see it in a lot of MMOs where a tank has the ability to somehow pull people to them. So, like, you'd have to give a tank some sort of like, it depends on the class, but pull mechanics. So, and this is just be theoretical. I mean, they're like, you know, this is just like, I'm just kind of storyboarding here, right? I'm storyboarding. We're like storyboarding here. This is not written in stone. But, you know, for example, a druid tank would, instead of like pull mechanics, they would just like, you know, root people. Druid tanks would have, you know, would root people in place. Okay, so it wouldn't really be a pull mechanic for a druid, right? A paladin would maybe have, what would they do? That would be like kind of like, maybe paladins could create a paladin cast some sort of holy barrier, right? That surrounds their party. You know, obviously their party, you know, obviously absorbing damage, which is something that does exist in later versions, right, of the game. So let's get rid of pull mechanics and let's just call it, this is just going to be based off of the protecting as well, right? Protecting. So it's all part of this bullet point. So the druid tank would be able to root people in place, you know. Paladins could cast like a holy barrier. But I do think having a pulling mechanic also works where, but I'm not sure every class would have it. Like, so you'd have like something like warrior has a specific weapon that can pull enemies to them, kind of like the Death Knights. You know, what is the Death Knight thing called? I don't remember what it's called. You know, so they get some sort of like a, you know, a hook, you know, attached to a long chain, and they can whip it out there. They can grab somebody and they can yank them to them. So, I mean, these are just things that I would definitely do in Classic Plus. You know, give Paladins a taunt. You know, I would rework some of the DPS for certain specs. This is just an example. These are all examples of things I would do. You know, make protection tanks viable in PvP. I would also make them more viable in PvE. Same thing, in PvE, protection tanks could, again, protect players, right? They could also provide buffs. One of the things that you see in other MMOs, you know, missing from WoW, right? But found in other MMOs, right? Because this is an easy way to fix like a lot of the problems with some of the things in WoW is missing from WoW but found other MMOs. And of course WoW, and this is missing from vanilla. Missing from, you know, vanilla version of WoW. Because some of these things have been added in later versions of WoW. And one of those things is crafting based gear, okay? Which Final Fantasy does this, and this has been added into War Within, but in a Classic Plus it wouldn't be there, so we want to make sure that that's there, because I think crafting based gear is pretty cool. I think it's nice to have gear that can help out. Other things missing would be, I would think, would be more support based classes, right? That aren't really there to really do damage or to really straight up. They kind of basically do some damage or augment damage of others while providing defensive and offensive benefits to the players, right? Stuff like this, you know. And this would come into what you were talking about, Voss, where you'd have a class change quest, right? So add class change quests, right? And this would be, you know, Paladin's fall from grace, right? You know, long quest chain where a Paladin turns to the dark side, really, for lack of a better way of saying it. Turns to the dark side and becomes some sort of evil. I don't know what you'd call Paladin, you know what I mean? Some sort of evil Paladin. And then you can have a, you know, Hunter class change quest, you know, change quest to become more of a melee-based hunter. Based, no pet hunter, kind of. Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. Like, I could sit here and theory craft out, you know, a ton of stuff for Classic Plus. And these are just little things. I mean, this would, I bet you I could sit here and write, like, this is like 25 lines. I could write like 500,000 lines of just ideas. And these aren't all things that would have to be, that we would put, because all this stuff has to be talked about. This is just like throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks, because you have to like speak with other people who have the same knowledge of the game that I do, and who can basically kind of refute what I'm saying, say, oh, this isn't good because of this, or this may not be a good idea because of this, or have you thought about this? This is where the collaboration comes in. But there's certainly, if you get the right people in a room who know enough about vanilla WoW, you can start coming up with stuff that's going to be really good. It's not going to be, again, it's not going to fit. It's not going to be perfect for everybody. Everybody's not going to like it. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get something that most people will like, you know? And the other thing the other thing I would like to do is, I mean, I would be tempted, this would probably piss a lot of people off, but I would be tempted to rework the talent trees a little bit, which probably would might piss off a lot of people. Only in that I think certain, you know, things, you know, would be a little bit more fun if they were more accessible. You know, there's stuff like when you're on a paladin, you know, having consecrate be like requiring 20 points, I think kind of sucks. So I think for like a paladin, I would love to put consecration as not a talent-based thing, and just put that in your spellbook as a spell that every paladin has. Because I think every paladin should have consecration. I don't think it should be based on. So there are situations like that where I think talent trees should be looked at and abilities should be looked at. Certain talents that maybe, like if I'm like on a warrior and I want to go down and get like, I don't know, like some low-level warrior tree talent which prevents me from getting a talent in another tree. You have to look at that and say, does that really make sense? Does that make a lot of sense? So all the talent trees, I personally would look at them, right? And try to make sure that we're not limiting players from playing the game in more creative ways. Because one of the most fun things about, I think, MMOs is having the freedom to create diverse builds. So if you're looking at like a warrior's tree, for example, some of the most important abilities for a warrior are going to fall into certain areas. I mean, obviously, cruelty is big because it's crit, but it's right at the top of the tree, so that's fine. I think, isn't there a hit rating for warriors? Is there no hit rating for warriors? I'm trying to think. I thought there was. Maybe there isn't. But I know when I'm playing a warrior, I think, of course, and also the stuff like tactical mastery is interesting. Like stance dancing is a really interesting thing, which I actually really like in the warrior. But I would add stuff to warrior and paladin. I would add more abilities that utilize shields. I think every class that has a shield should have the ability to use their shield in different ways. And the only thing we have for a warrior is shield bash and shield slam. And to be honest, shield slam is, I mean, I've never played protection warrior that much, but it's not a great ability. Like, again, if you look back at my list, protection warrior should be viable for PvE and PvP. So we need to rework this in a way that these abilities can be used in PvP as well and be used effectively. That people will want you in their group. People are like, I want a protection warrior because the protection warrior can protect my healer when he's healing, or protection warrior can maybe do a little bit of crowd control. Maybe someone's trying to cast a heal to save somebody, and the protection warrior is using a specific weapon where he throws that chain hook out and yanks the person over to interrupt their heal. Whatever. Maybe they throw their shield. I mean, I think if you got a shield, you should be able to throw the shield. But I take a long, hard look at all the talent trees because I do think there's room for improvement in the talent trees for a Classic Plus. Now, I think a lot of people might have problems with that because they'd be afraid it'd be too much of a change. And so I think what I would want to do is try to make those changes incrementally and not do them all at once because I think it would be too much. So, fix the glaring problems like Paladins not having a taunt, but add just a few things in. And the cool thing is, but plan it out. Like, don't look at Classic Plus as here's what we have, right? You have to plan it out. You have to say Classic Plus, and I would plan it out for like about 10 phases. Phase 1, right? And then I would say in phase 1, these are the things we're doing. In phase 2, these are the things we're going to do. And then that way, if you're planning out all the phases, so I would try to do it in a way that it's like covers like maybe like 5 years, over 5 years. And that way, that the changes in phase 1 you're planning you've already figured out how that affects the game and the other phases later down the road. Because if you try to make some changes in phase 1 and you're not planning for the rest of the next 4 or 5 years of development, you might be hamstringing yourself in a certain way. It might be kind of like, making it difficult to do certain things that you want to do. So try to plan it out. What I mean by that is, is try to look at like, okay, I want the warrior, what do we want the warrior to be like in 5 years from now, right? And so the biggest things I want to plan for the warrior to be like in 5 years is I want to improve their protection in PvP. That's one of the big things. I want to improve the use of shields and their protection and protection overall, because I don't think warrior needs a lot of help on DPS. We already know the warrior can DPS, right? So I don't think the DPS side of the warrior needs to be looked at a ton. And then you look at other classes, and then we have to think about what is the warrior, what is their class change is going to be. So we have warrior. Where's it going to go? Is it going to branch off into like a berserker? Is it going to branch off into maybe a juggernaut? Which is more, or is it going to branch off into just like a defender? Whatever. Berserker. which is more, more bloodlust, bleeds, you know, maybe rage or something. Juggernaut's more like high defense, big damage from, slow based attacks. And then Defender would be something that's just more like, protection based, more abilities, with shield and more defensive abilities, right? Abilities that aid the group. So you're looking at it from this point of view. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And do this for every single class. And then once you figure out what you're trying to accomplish and where you want to go, then look at the phases for Classic Plus to say, what are we going to do? How are we going to incrementally take steps to get to the end goal through the phases, right? That's what I would do. So anyways, I got to take a break because my head's killing me. So I'm going to go. I'll be back. I'm going to leave the stream going. I'm just going to take like a 10-minute break and maybe get a quick bite to eat. I want to talk to my wife for a minute and see how she's doing. But yeah, I think and that's where I think Metza would come in. Hey, Vals, I don't know if you're still there, but I think that's where Metza would come in really key. Because I think Metza would be a great person to talk to really try to come up with some of those ideas. But you need to identify who are the people that can have those types of discussions that are going to work well together, and that understand that what they're making is something that everybody who really loves the vanilla version, the original version of the game, would find exciting and would find fun. And I think that looking at other MMOs out there is a really great thing to do, because there's plenty of examples of the things I'm talking about that already exist in other MMOs. If you look at, and there's even some MMOs that don't exist anymore, like Elion, had some great shield combat. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in Elion as far as combat-wise. And there's other games where you have pulling abilities to pull enemies to you. And, there's other games like Lineage 2 where you had class change quests. You look at Lineage 2, right? This is kind of what I think would be something to look at as far as Classic Plus, because so we're not adding new classes to the game really, but what we're adding is the ability for classes to kind of morph into different kind of things. So you might start off with a human fighter, and then you're a human fighter, but are you going to be a warrior? Are you going to be a knight? Are you going to be a rogue? These different ones. But let's say you're a human and you're a warrior. Then after a while, you can do some sort of a class change quest to make you a gladiator. And then you say, well, I want to do this other thing and become a duelist. Or maybe I'm a warrior, but I want to switch from a warrior to a warlord. And then once I'm a warlord, I can go to a dreadnought. Like a wizard, you can start out as a wizard, but eventually at a certain level, you change to a sorcerer. I think we could do something. These are more based on level in Lineage 2. You're like, oh, level 1 to 20, this, and then maybe level 20 to 40, this, then level 40 to 70 or whatever the max level is, this. But I think we could implement this in a Classic Plus environment where we'd say, okay, you're a warrior, but at level 60, you can choose to maybe do some sort of a quest chain or something that'll maybe, you can then become like a gladiator or a duelist. So you're still 60, though. You're not changing levels. You're just morphing into a slightly different specialization, or you're gaining a different specialization. Same thing with wizard. Oh, I'm level 60 wizard, but I want to become like an archmage, or I'm a necromancer, I want to become a soul taker. I'm a cleric, but I want to become a cardinal, or maybe all these, I think these are things that you could do in a Classic Plus environment that would be really cool. So, all right, I'll catch you guys in a bit. I'm gonna take like a 10-minute break. I'll be back after that. Munch, munch, munch. I'm eating some food. Well, let's finish the... Let's try to finish these crystal quests here. So... we're gonna grab these 3. I don't know how much the crystals cost on the auction house. I'm hoping they're not ridiculously expensive. They may be. Sometimes crystals aren't that much. It depends on the server. Like, I've been on servers where they were really cheap, and I've been on servers where they were really expensive. But everything's expensive on this server, so I guess we'll just have to find out. Mm-hmm. All right, all right, all right, all right. I am completely out of inventory space. Huh. Not good. You know, we could try to solo SGC. I haven't done that. I know Cargos did it. Whatever happened to Cargos? You know, I haven't seen him in so long. I haven't gone to his Discord in a while. Let's take a look. Cargos. Baron's chat. Wow. Last time I was there was 3/29/25, so that was, I guess, a couple weeks ago. And from what I can tell, Cargos is not. It's not posted. Posted there. .411 servers are up. Looks like... Hey, SL, how's it going? Looks like the Defiance servers go up on the 18th. I don't know if I'm going to play Defiance or not. I kind of want to. I don't think they're up now, though, are they? Let's see, Fox. Pretty sure they're not. Let's see. Let me just ask in the chat real quick. Yeah, I know Side Out. I actually bought some coffee from Side Out Coffee already. It's actually pretty good coffee. You just opened up an indoor pickleball court? I gotcha. It'll be from... Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just haven't talked to him in a while. You know, I always liked Cargo, so he's a good guy. It just feels like he's like one of the few people in Classic that I always liked, you know, because I'm very picky about people that I think are good. Not only good people, but good for the game. You know, and Cargos I always felt was not only a good person, but that he was pretty good he was good for the game, you know? So oh, thanks, yeah. We got to 60. We're just doing this. I want to get some of these crystals done so I can get the buff, the little lightning type shield buff going for fun, just for shits and giggles. And then I might start. I know Cargos did a video where he was soloing the guy for the Savage Gladiator chain in VRD, and I might try doing some solo runs on Savage Gladiator chain. I'm not sure how easy or not it would be with my specific gear. Don't really know. Probably, I mean, it's one of those things where you're up top of the arena and you're shooting the mobs from up top, then you jump down and all that kind of business. And I'd almost rather just get a group and do it. But the problem is if you get a group and it actually drops, then you got to roll against other people. But yeah, I always thought Cargos was had a good heart for sure. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I had a kid once when I was younger, you know, and I know how hard it is to raise kids. And he's got not one, but I think, does he have just one or two? Doesn't he have 2 kids now? And I mean, that was I was a little surprised that they decided to have another kid. Because, you know, to me, in today's day and age, especially when you're trying, I mean, to me, I would say personally, and, you know, he may not want to hear this, but personally, I would say that was a mistake. Just because you're trying to start your own business. And, you know, and the amount of money it costs to raise a kid, and you're trying to actually put all this money investment into your own business, it just seems like those two things to me don't really go together that well. But we don't know his situation. You know, maybe he's a certain type of religion where birth control is not something they want to do. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of things that go into that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's got 2 though, right? He's got 2 kids. That's the thing. I mean, 1 kid is 1, but 2. I mean, that's crazy, you know. But again, if I was starting my own business, I certainly would put the kid on the back burner. That would have been the last thing I would have been thinking about doing, is having a kid and then trying to do a business all at the same time. That's why Cargos doesn't stream WoW anymore, because he's too busy, you know. Three and a half, yeah. That sounds about right. 3.5. It's been a while since he had the first. You know, and I speak from you know, being there. You know, I had a son when I was, you know, much younger. My son is oh God, how old is my son? My son is 27, believe it or not, right now. My son's 20. I can't believe it. Actually, he's 26 right now. He'll be 27 in December. But I can't even believe it. He's 26. Holy shit. Boy, do I feel old. But all I'm saying is I know what it's like to have to raise a kid. You know, it's a lot of work. And to have two, especially two that are both young, you know, that's just a tremendous, you know, and it's also a lot more expensive today than it used to be to raise a kid. You know, everything costs more, diapers, whatever, food, everything just costs more. So bloody expensive. But yeah, I bought some Settle coffee. Actually, I liked it, and I kind of wanted to buy more, but it is a little expensive to have it shipped from California. I think he's in California to, you know, to me here in Florida. But if I sign up for the, you know, the automatic where they just basically ship me like a bag, I think like once a month, then it's actually quite a bit cheaper. You sign up for like the subscription or whatever it is, but. Yeah. Oh yeah. He loved when he was. Oh, is it on Amazon? Oh, I didn't know it was on Amazon. Yep, there it is. Yeah, the light roast is the one I got. Of course, I got the WoW, you know, inspired bag, the one with the barons, you know. I still have that bag. Actually, it's sitting right next to me on the floor, believe it or not. Yeah, good old Bezos, right? Yeah, I would prefer to order it not on Amazon. I mean, it's probably cheaper to order it directly through, I would imagine. Although I get free shipping from Amazon, so maybe it's not. Yeah, who knows?
Lovely.
I mean, I saw the video, the hardcore clip of him playing the, you know, doing the raid where he was, you know, playing the game by, yeah, doing the motion capture. I didn't see like a video of him actually doing the motion capture. I don't really know Grays for Days that well. He seems like a bizarre guy. Maybe not bizarre guy is the best word, but kind of a goofy guy. But yeah, you can see here that it's 20 bucks, which is a little bit expensive. And if you go to Side Out Coffee and go to, let's see, Shop Coffee, I don't know if they still have. So I think this is the one I got, which is the light roast. Now, see, it's only 18 bucks, but if you subscribe. Right? Like if you subscribe every 4 weeks, you save 15%. But then you're looking at delivery cost. And it's going to, you know, I'm not sure how much the delivery fee is going to be. So, I mean, it's still probably almost cheaper for me just to buy it off of here. You know, because Amazon, obviously I don't pay shipping for Amazon because I'm an Amazon Prime member. So it would be probably slightly cheaper if I did the subscription. But it's good. I think the one I had was, let's see. Where did you message me? You said you were going to message me in Discord? Anyways, if you go to here, the big dink. Yeah, I think I posted in here. See, here's the one I bought. See, I bought this one, the Cactus Apple Morning Surprise, which I believe is just the light roast. Yeah, so if you go here, let's see, Set Out Coffee, Big Energy, Collect Light Roast. I think it's this one. But 20 bucks is, I'm not gonna lie, 20 bucks is on the pricey side. But it is good. These are the beans, right? Doesn't really say, but I'm assuming these are the coffee beans. It's not ground already, right? Yeah, I mean these are just the beans. Yeah, that's what it was before. I want to make sure that it's the beans. And oh yeah, I see beans right here. So yeah, there you go. Order placed. I just ordered myself some of the light. So, because I needed to, because he moved me up to a new bracket because I was drinking my Dunkin' Donuts medium roast, but it's not. His is better. Like the light roast that he has, I actually like it better than my Dunkin' Donuts. Of course, it's the beans. The Dunkin' Donuts I usually just buy it pre-ground, but I've got a coffee grinder, so I just grind it up myself. It does definitely taste better. I really enjoyed it actually. I thought that his coffee was pretty good. So, man, I'm broke this week though. Maybe I'll sell some Bitcoin. But it's because I bought a lot of stuff. I bought a lot of stuff last week. Oh yeah? How does he do that? Well, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let me see. Let's message Cargos. Let's see. He's actually not a friend of mine, which is kind of bums me out. But let's see. Where is Cargo? Yeah. I don't really use Instagram, to be honest. What's up, Dan? I don't really use Instagram. I mean, I have an Instagram, but honestly, I don't even know. Like, I never use it. Let's see. This is my Instagram. You can see it's not used much. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 images posted on my Instagram the entire time I've had it. Like, and they're really old, you know. So yeah, I don't really use Instagram, but I mean, I could use it. Honestly, if I was going to use it for something like that, I would probably create a new account. Because that's my kind of my personal Instagram, which I probably wouldn't use for something like that. I would probably create, yeah, in Tennessee. Let's see. This was an apartment that me and my wife lived in a while ago. It's pretty old. This is my cat, Anubis, out in. This is my roommates when I lived with this girl before I was married. This is my roommate's cat. This was just like a world map I was playing around with creating inside a map designer. These are my roommates, the girl on the right and the girl on the left, the 2 girls I lived with for a while. And this is that same cat again. This cat here, and that's it. And then this is the lead singer of the band Paris, who I'm a big fan of that band. That was it. That was the only shit I ever posted on Instagram. No, this is actually a chick, dude. It's the lead singer of a band called Paris. Oh, this is me. Like, me? That's me. Right there. Anyways. It's an old picture, obviously, but... Oh, the guy in the middle, no, that was not me. That was just a friend of... That was a friend of my roommates. That wasn't me. Yeah, that was not me. Oh, looks like I feigned death just the right time to miss getting feared because he feared my pets. Alright. Anyways, did we get them all done? I think we did, right? We flagged all the... No, we didn't. We still didn't flag this one because I was yakking. How is the game you were planning? What do you mean? Like the game I've always... Yeah, yeah, don't follow... I mean, I wouldn't follow that Instagram. I mean, I need to create a new one, you know, like a new one that's more based on... for video game stuff, you know. I'll create a new one under, like, maybe... You know, we'll do, like, one for caffeine injected, maybe. You talking about the game I was talking about earlier, Dan? The Classic Plus, or... I won't be creating any of my own video games until I retire. When I retire, I might. We'll see. I gotta... Depends on what I'm doing when I retire. You know, like, where am I gonna be? What am I doing? But it's something that I've always wanted to do, is make my own game, obviously, but... What do you mean silly about me, Navin? I don't even know why I put that picture on Instagram, to be honest. Who knows? Yeah, I spoke about years ago? If he's talking about the game I was talking about years ago, that's my own MMO that I wanted to create. Yeah, I mean, that's something that is always in the back of my mind, like creating my own MMO, like just like a very small vertical slice, like a concept, you know, like maybe like a couple basic systems. That's something I definitely will do at some point, I think. You know, I think the cool thing is, as you know, the older I get, the better the development tools get. You know, the better Unreal Engine gets, the better everything gets. Yeah, I mean, I've got the... Here, hold on a second. Here, let me... You guys are always distracting me from actually doing stuff in game, but it's okay. So, let's see. Thanks. So here was here was a document I created, obviously quite a while ago. And this document talks about the video game, the MMO that I would like to create. And the game, the world, don't steal this. Now this is copyrighted. It's not copyrighted, but it should be copyrighted, right? It's called The World of Vosslar. Okay? That's my world, Vosslar. And this talks about, you know, where does it come from? Talks about the world, background story, races, core gaming system, life systems, and a lot of this stuff would change probably over time. But this is just basically an overview of kind of what I was thinking about. Major issues with the development of the game, major influences I've drawn upon, just some basic stuff, you know. And if you go to my Google Drive here, you can see I've got a whole folder on Vosslar: world building, reference material, procedural generation, notes, ideas, modeling, game resources, concept art, artificial intelligence. You can see a lot of this stuff's from 2018. Most of this stuff was done all the way back in 2018, 7 years ago. So that's how long I've been, you know, thinking about making that. But life goes on. You get busy. It's tough. You know, I don't have time to sit here and work on that right now. Right now, what I'm trying to do is get to the point where I can retire. And I'm 55 years old. And I'm hoping that I can retire when I'm you know, like 60, you know, hopefully like 65, like 10 years, you know? So the goal would be hopefully when I retire in 10 years that would be one of my hobbies would be to work on guitar playing, of course, because I play guitar, but the other thing would be to really work on that game. And again, in 10 years from now, the development tools for creating something like that are only going to get better. You guys have seen that the game development tools have constantly improved very, very drastically in the last few years. So by the time, you know, it's very difficult for a single person to create a high quality game like any game, really, to be honest. But in 10 years, that may not be the case. In 10 years, it may be feasible. But yeah, I have a vision, and you know, and just like anything, because you play these games over and over for years, so your vision changes, and just, you know, and it evolves. And so my vision right now, I have to go back and read that document because I haven't read it in a long time. Yeah, my vision could be quite a bit different, you know, than it was, but it's probably still pretty similar. You know what I mean? My pet's hungry. Yeah, I can't believe, Dan, you've been around a long time. If you remember me talking about that, you know, if you remember me talking about my vision, you've been around for a while. Well, there was another hunter kidding it too. It wasn't just me. If it was just me killing that devil sword, it would have taken quite a bit longer. Especially since I'm a melee hunter. But I think that's what Blizzard's missing. I think Blizzard's missing a visionary. I really don't think Blizzard has the right people in place for Classic WoW. I don't. Nothing against the people that are working on Classic WoW, but I think they're handcuffed by the people above them, and it's just it's too bad. Oh, you didn't see? Oh, I got you on your phone. Gotcha.
Pleased to meet you. Very well, then. Be seeing you. You have a great day now. Very well, then. Very good. Off and away. Very good. Be seeing you.
I have no room in my inventory. What can we get rid of? I guess we'll get rid of this.
Hey, off and away.
You were, Dan. I wish, dude. I wish I had the. I just don't have the time. You know, it's such a endeavor. Obviously, I guess if I was working on it from 2018 till now, I probably would have had something. You know. So. Hold on a second. Where was my post? Man, this server is very populated. People must really like this game. I'm trying to find out, where'd my post go? A second. Okay, well, no one really responded. Let's go back to, just so you guys know what I'm looking at here. Too many Discord servers, man. Friday's raid roster, Saturday's raid roster. So, Blackwing Lair. Don't forget your Oni cloak. Bring Oni plus Dire Maul buffs. Extra SR. I want to see when the Defiance MMO is launching again. Let's see. Okay. After years of blah blah blah, legendary sci-fi shooters make triumphant return. Okay, there we go. April 18th. Okay, I just want to see when that was. April 18th. I want to check out that Defiance MMO on April 18th. Yeah. Thank you, Dan. I do believe that I have quite a crazy imagination, actually. I've always, you know, my family's like that. My whole family's like artists. You know, my mother was an artist, my sister's an artist, my brother was an artist. You know, my grandmother was a painter. I mean, my family's full of like pretty much art people. But where do I? Let's get out of here. But yeah, so this is not hardcore. This is just regular PvE on server DreamScythe, which is why we've been able to get a lot of stuff done, because we're not getting ganked all the time.
You need something?
Okay, this is going to be the fun part. Crystals. We now have the crystals. Soil. Now you can see my inventory is a complete disaster.
Have a good one. How are you? See you around.
Oh, it's not soulbound, is it? Nice. Oh, you're on the same server? Yeah, this is DreamScythe. Oh, can't. Dan, hey! Dan, thank you for the donation, man. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it, buddy. It's always nice when someone donates because it happens so rarely. Thank you. I appreciate it, Dan. Yeah, let me check. I want to check on the crystals really quick. Let's do crystals. Yeah, so red. Actually, oh, see, these are really cheap. And the ones we need here, do I have the book? So the ones we need are, I think, the green and the yellow. Let me go. We got the... We want the Eastern Pylon. This one, crystal swipes. We need yellow crystals and requires blue and yellow. So blue and yellow are what we need. We're going to go yellow, power, crystals. And you can see they're actually quite cheap. So we're in business. 8 silver each. Look at that. 44 for a gold. That's really cheap. Right, let's buy that one again. This one here, look. Boom, buy. Any of these cheap ones we're gonna buy. Oh, I'm surprised they don't because they're required for my shield, man. My shield. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, hopefully one day. You know, when like I said, when I'm retired and I have time, and when I'm retired, because I'll have plenty of time to do stuff. You know, I don't really need the red, but thank you, SL. The ones I need are the yellow and the blue. Yellow and the blue. God, there's so many of them. Now the blue, I think, are probably more expensive. Yeah. So it looks like 12 silver per. Oh, and there's not very many of them. All right, well, we're gonna have to do this the hard way. All right, Dan. Thanks again for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night, Dan. Yeah, hopefully one day. Like I said, when I retire, then I'll have time to actually do stuff. Like right now, I just, you know, between work and, you know, my wife has a lot of health issues, which, you know, something that we deal with. So if I'm not playing WoW and I'm working, and if I'm not, or I'm just spending time with the wife, so. Really, there's only those 3 things, you know. Well, I mean, I'll take as many as you got. How many you want to give me? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I can never have too many, basically, because when I'm doing like the melee hunter build, it's just nice to have that shield up for, especially if I'm tanking. If I'm tanking, I want mobs to hit me, then I'm gonna want the blue shield. But these are 13 silver pieces. Is a little bit high, but I've seen worse, to be honest. I've actually seen worse. Alright, so we bought out all the 13s and 12s. See, that only got us 42, but we're gonna have a ton of yellow. Yeah, I've got over 100 yellow. which is a nice starting point. Looks like I'm out of Arthas's tears.
Safe travels.
And Shady Garden. Got a banker for every occasion. No Arthas's tears. Let me check the bank. It was funny when on the hardcore server I collected a ton of Winter's Bite, like a ton, and because we didn't, and it was easy to get because the server was so dead.
Day to you.
Actually, oh, you know what? You have 62 blue. Send them my way. How much you want? How much money you want for them? I'll send you some money. But what I should have done before I brought over my paladin, although my paladin wasn't high enough herbalism, I should have farmed Winter's Bite for like a few days because the server is so dead. I could have farmed so many herbs on the other server, like on the hardcore server, and then because it was a free transfer, and then I could have just transferred over here with a shit ton of herbs. That would have been the smart thing to do, because the herbs here are more difficult to get.
Hey there. Have a good one.
Yeah, either or. You can meet me if you want, because I'm actually I'm gonna try to clean out my inventory here a little bit because it's really a disaster.
See you later.
You have one Arthas. Oh, I'll take your Arthas tier. I will take that off your hands. I make the gift of Arthas with that. Let's see. Kinsa? Alright. Oh, and you're a hunter too. A hunter indeed.
For the Alliance.
How are you? See you around. Hey there. Safe travels. Good day to you.
Nice.
Have a good one. Hello. See you later. You need something? See you around.
Oh, you're in that guild Last Stand. I think I've seen that guild around. What's that guild? Is your guild good? Hey, do you like your guild? Do they do, are they nice? Are they doing raids and stuff? Right. Here, take some gold. Thank you. Nice. And you had one. Arthas.
Alone be praised.
You like them? Last Stand. Let's take a look. Not a lot online, but they're all 60s. They're doing a brilliant job. How many guild members you got? You don't have that many online right now. They're only 60. It looks like only 12, and they're all level 60. My guild's pretty good. There's 21 online currently. And if you look at last online within the last 24 hours, you can see that most of the guilds. This guild's pretty active. I mean, you can see that most of the people have been online within the past 24 hours. If you go in the past week, you're down to like 80% of the guilds have been online within the past week, so that's pretty good. I always look for activity. Are people being active, you know? Oh, you got those rogue shoulders, don't you? Spalders of the Unseen, yeah. My brother used to use those back in the day. Dark Phantom Cape. The Bloodseeker. Is that what I have? It is. Oh, it's because you've got the Tarnished Elven Rings. I don't have any of that shit. Oh, yeah, the Windrunner. I used to have those. Those are good. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, the guild I'm in seems pretty good right now. I hate their guild tabard. I'm going to take these crystals you gave me, and I am going to go turn them in. Let's see. It's kind of a long trip, though. I have to run all the way over there, but... So I'm going to actually see if I can get some more... You're not really experienced with this level. Oh, I got you. We're charging 77 silver a piece, which is just not a good price. Yeah, I'm better off just going and farming my own blue crystals than paying like 77 silver per crystal. That's not worth it. You know. But yeah, let's go stock up on our lightning shield. Just takes so long to get there. It's all the way on the other side of the map, you know.
Well met.
Yeah, it's where you're talking a game and talking on the stream, yeah. Especially when there's that delay, you know. I need to complete that quest, but I don't know what part I'm on. Speak with Ragged John. I don't really know where I'm at here. Let's see. True Masters. Speak with Ragged John. I don't know. See, that doesn't look right. Speak with Ragged John. Oh, he's in the cave? I don't think I went in the cave. Maybe I just need to listen to his story. Maybe that's why I missed it. I don't know. Why does this say I'm here? It says I'm not logged in for some reason. Alright. No, I have not. No, I haven't done that one. I don't know if I have it. Do I have it? I don't think I have that quest, but I mean, I haven't. I guess I need to do the Block Rock Medallion. But I think I threw them in the bank. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I can help you. Here, let me... I screwed up, though, and was flying to a different place, so I'm going to see if I can... Well, I'm already at the wetlands, so... But yeah, I can help you do it.
What can I do for you? Be good. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Vanilla WoW video. My name is Cargos, and today I'm not exactly sure what I want to talk about. I'm trying to do a video or a stream every day, and I have some idea, but I think I'm actually just going to try to talk about an issue I've been having, and so an issue that some of you guys might face as well. And that's just like, your sense of immersion when you're playing vanilla, when you're playing classic, when you're playing WoW in general. Like, are you guys immersed? Are you able to play the game and feel vested in your character and the gear and the items and the world like you once were?
I don't... I mean, honestly, Voss, I mean, Cargos has done so much with WoW in the last... I mean, the guy started the game later than I did. I think he started in Wrath of the Lich King, Cargos, originally. But I can't remember. I think he did. He must have, because he's a lot younger than me. But definitely... And you just posted the same thing twice. But definitely, I'm sure a lot of people have burned out on it because, and I think what accelerated the burnout was the massive amount of different versions of WoW. Right? We had the hardcore server launches, we had the anniversary server launches, we had for streamers, we had there were so many different releases of WoW. So. So I think people just kept, and then Cargos did the Deviant. There was the Deviant Delight thing we did. There was the classic, the original classic launch, of course. You know. Let me see if I can pick up this quest. I don't remember here. Rotesh the Boot Lord.
What's on your mind?
Yeah,
Keep your feet
I got it. So let's do it. Oh, you got a fast mount too. Nice. Let's, we just gotta go kill. Where is, oh, shit, my map's kind of confusing. Oh, mine's got markers all over the map. Okay, I see it. I see it. Cool. Yeah, yeah, Black Lotuses are. There's one here, there's one here. Yeah. We're gonna have to roll for the Black Lotus since we're both herbalists, I guess. But I think all those different versions of the game coming out and people kind of playing through each version again and again. You know, playing hardcore will definitely burn you out on Vanilla WoW because you have to like level a character up, and hardcore is more like, you know, it's more intense, obviously. And then when you're doing like what Cargos is doing, where you're leveling up hardcore with the intent of raiding and all that, that's a whole other aspect to it. So. Anyway, so I mean, it's good to see that he says he's burned out on it to a certain degree. Like he said, he doesn't care about progression because when you've done it so many times, you're just like, you know, rinse and repeat. You know, I'm that way. I've been burned out for probably about 2.5, 3 years on progression. That's why when I play the game, it's all about kind of what Cargos was talking about in his video, but it's about enjoying the world. It's about enjoying the ambiance. You know, the getting away from the real world to get into in here. You know, it's just cool. You know. So. Oh, he evaded, really?
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
This guy's hitting pretty hard, huh?
Rude.
Taking some damage. All right, I'm gonna have to use a healing potion here. Taking some damage. Actually, I probably didn't have to, but I got plenty. I didn't have to use a healing potion there. Oh well, whatever. Whatever. Gartosh. Anyways, but I think it's not surprising that, you know, that people are getting burned out. You know, like I said, I've been burned out for years, and that's why I think Classic Plus is such a great idea. Because, like you said, Vals, there are so many big streamers who all want it. You know, they want it. They want that fresh, like, they want Vanilla WoW because everybody loves Vanilla WoW. You know, the true like Vanilla WoW players, like Cargos, like me, you know, like people. There's other ones out there. There's a bunch of them out there. We don't want to play retail. We don't want to play Season of Discovery. You know, we don't play that bullshit. We want to play vanilla World of Warcraft, but we want to play something new. We don't want to do the exact same things we've done 10,000 times already. You know, we've done these things over and over and over again. So that's where Classic Plus fills that void, because it's a vanilla experience, but you're creating all kinds of new content, which would just make it so exciting, and especially it'd make it even better if they don't do what Blizzard has done, which is stupid, which is to create like a beta server or like a test server that people go in and play the new content before it's even released, which I've always thought is like, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Why would you ever give the content? I mean, I understand trying to test something, but you have an internal testing team. If you want to bring in like 2 or 3 people who you trust, who are big streamers, who aren't going to release the information, who you trust their opinion to come in and test it, that's fine. But do not release it for the public for like a public test. You know, that's just stupid. You know, I don't get that. You know? Yeah, I know exactly why they do it. They don't want to pay their people, but it's dumb. Yeah, see, I never listened to this guy's story, which is why I screwed this quest up.
Watch your back. You got my attention. Be good. Off with you. Time is money, friend. Keep it real.
So now I have what is the next part of the step? Shit, I don't even know. Here. Speak with various language. I did that. Well, I just did that. Why does this say complete? What do I do now? No, I'm good. No, thanks, Kins. I'm good. I'm just gonna head to Ngoro here. Yeah, it's dumb. I mean, like I think you have to have, if you want to really manage, like, you know, bots and gold sellers and all the shenanigans, you need people in the game. You need game masters. Yeah, we already did this, so now what?
See you soon. Safe travels. See you soon.
What can I do for you? Go with honor, friend. Be careful. Good day to you.
See ya. You got my attention. Safe travels.
Okay, so I've been talking for like 10 minutes and my mic was muted. I've literally been talking for 10 minutes and my mic was muted. Holy shit. I've been talking for like 10 minutes. So what I was trying to say, I was talking about Classic Plus. I can't believe, I don't know when I muted the mic. When did I mute the mic? I think I was sneezing or something and I muted it. You know, if you sneeze, you mute the mic. But anyways, I was talking about the only way to get these people, Vals, that were that are burned out on the game, right? The only way to get them interested, again, is to come out with Classic Plus. That's the only thing that's going to get these old school vanilla players super hyped for WoW again. You know, I mean, you could do it completely different. Yeah, I was completely muted for like last 10 minutes. That's why, like, Ginza, I told you, I said I'm heading to Angora. You probably didn't see that. I was talking in stream about it. That's why I was surprised when you invited me to group. I was like, oh, I told you I'm heading to Angora. So... But anyways, what I was trying to say is people like, I was talking about like soda popping, for example, and I think this was muted when I said this as well. I'm going to mute this music just for a second because I'm talking a lot. But when soda popping, like I said, I think soda popping and OnlyFans, I don't think soda popping plays the game because he loves to play the game anymore. When you watch soda popping play in World of Warcraft, he doesn't look happy. His face doesn't tell you this is someone who's super excited to log in and play WoW. I think he's burned out on WoW just like all of us are. He plays WoW because it was a streamer event. I mean, they do stuff to make money. You know, they created OnlyFans as a way for them to get publicity, which gets more people to join their social platforms so that they make more money. Let's be honest. This is a job for these people. You know, they live. You know what I mean? Yeah, they live because of the fact that they are streamers and they have platforms and so the OnlyFans was something to make money. It wasn't like, I mean, some of them, sure, some of those people still love playing the game, but when you watch Soda Pop play, he doesn't look like somebody to me who's super excited to play World of Warcraft. He looks like he's doing it as a job. Now, and what I was saying is to get him excited about it, to get any of us excited about playing vanilla anymore, is to come out with like a Classic Plus. You know, I think that would get people. That's cool. You can stay. It doesn't matter if you stay in the group or leave it. I'm going to Angora Crater to get my crystals turned in. But what I was talking about is the talent system, because I think you got to be really careful about changing the talents too much for Classic Plus, because a lot of people aren't going to like that. And the changes I was talking about weren't like changing the abilities in the talent trees. I wasn't saying like get rid of them or anything like that. The changes I want to make to the talent trees are more about giving players flexibility, giving players access to some of the abilities they want to get with other abilities that in the current trees they can't get. Like, let's say they want to get Scattershot and some other ability. They can't because they can't go far enough down both trees to get both. So, you know, I never noticed this before, but my headpiece almost looks like feather. Almost looks like leaves from a tree, doesn't it? I know it's not supposed to, but listen, did somebody say squirrel? They almost look like little leaves. Anyway, I get distracted easily. Squirrel? So my wife always says when you get distracted easily, someone yells out squirrel, you know, you get distracted. Look over there, there's a squirrel. But I already lost my train of thought. But I think, you know, so the talent trees, like, you want to build it in a way that the trees are more flexible, I think. And then there's certain abilities that shouldn't be talents, like Consecration. I think everybody can agree that Consecration should have just been a spellbook ability, and Blizzard obviously agrees with that as well, because it became a spellbook ability, I think, in Burning Crusade. So I think it was Burning Crusade. I think only in Vanilla did you have to actually put talents to get down to, you know, to Consecration. It is a wolf's helmet. That's what it is. It's like a wolf, and it's just supposed to be fur. But I was just saying that the fur looked a little bit reminiscent of leaves. And but the other thing I was thinking about is the other thing, and I thought about this before, is another thing you could do. This is an idea I had too, Vols. Remember we talked about leveling in Classic Plus, where it would take you like 6 months. Maybe like we allowed the characters to still level. Like, for example, it's not like they're adding expansions. Like, Classic Plus is there, but we would turn leveling back on, but it would be like ridiculously slow. And the only thing you would get out of leveling from 61 to 60 or 60 to 61 would be that you would have a slightly better chance to crit, maybe a slightly better chance to hit against people that were 60. But to get from 60 to 61 might take like 6 months or at least 3 months minimum. It's got to be a very, very lengthy process, because we don't want people to look at that being the end game of Classic Plus, saying, oh, well, we have to just race to, you know, whatever, because we want it to be like Black Desert, where there is no level cap. It's a hard, they call that a hard level cap. There's a soft level cap in Black Desert, which is like level 55. You can get to 55 pretty quick, but once you start leveling past 55, everything slows down dramatically, and that's called a hard level cap. So what I would like to do in Classic Plus is to make it there be a hard level cap. So 60, you could still level to 61. You wouldn't get any new abilities, but if you were 61 and someone was 60, you would have a slightly better chance to hit them. You would have a slightly better chance to crit them. So you're going to have a slight advantage. But to get to 61 from 60, it might take you like, you know, we talked about it earlier. I would say if you spent about 8 hours grinding mobs, you might get like 60.005%. So we came up with the 60.0055%, right? So that would mean that it would take you basically 6 months of spending 8 hours a day to get to 61. Now, I think that's a little bit maybe too grindy. So we could maybe double that and say maybe you wouldn't get 60.0055, it'd be 60.01. You know, we could do that. You know, and that mean it would take you, what, like 100 hours? Or not 100 hours, but 100, it'd be 8,000. That would be 8,000 hours. That seems like a lot, though. I don't know. I'd have to, that's too much, too, probably. But anyways, the point is, I would like to do like a Black Desert thing where you could still level up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you're trying to find the Monitor? It should be, it should just be right on top of the mountain there. Yeah, I don't know the name of the quest you're on, but just look it up on, you'd be able to find it. But you now have to water my bow? You found it? Good. I now have to water my bow. Why do you have to water your bow? To get too hot? Improves your chance to get a critical strike, plus 17. Oh, because it's... I don't know. I wish I had that. I would like that bow. Look at 44 damage per second. Anyways, so... Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the changes around Classic Plus should be to fix, you know, to fix... Oh, you got the Essence of Earth? Nice. Would be to fix the crafting, you know. Did I somehow hit that guy or something? Why did he attack me? That was weird. That was very strange. You have to macro your traps. You have to macro everything, man. I'm a macro fanatic. Oh yeah. I don't know if I really tried it. I mean, I help people if they ask, you know. Wow, there's people out here grabbing crystals. You don't see that a lot. I'm gonna try to layer because I'm competing with some people here for crystals, looks like. I'm just grabbing crystals as I move over to get to the pylon. Oh yeah, it was funny because I was just killing devil swords out here. I helped some guy get like 3 devil sword, or 4 actually, because I can't skin them, but I was just killing them because like I kept running into them. And since I'm a melee hunter, I was trying to test out how strong or weak I was killing devil swords as a melee hunter, and I didn't have too much issues killing them. They knocked me down to around like 30 to 40% health usually. And I could have probably mitigated some of that just by using my counterattacks more often when they procced. Just to like counterattack, move off, hit them with like a Serpent Sting, maybe an Arcane, then move back in and finish them off with melee, but... Here's a Devil Sword. And I had no buffs up either, so... I could kill that quite quicker if I throw in a few buffs, but... Let's get my cut out. Little rogue. This is always a fun little thing to get up. There we go. Oh, damn it. Let's not aggro him. How close are we to the pylon? Oh, pretty close, I guess. Guys, are really 10 each. Yikes. There we go, Crystal Spire.
Past the chillest towns, past my window.
I think this is the last one.
I can see a washed out moon.
Okay, so we ended up with... Oh, yeah, we ended up with 70, 72. Not bad. 72 Crystal Spire.
Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. I survived against the will of my twisted folk. But in the deafness of my world, silence broke. Follow me down to the valley below.
You got me, nice. There it is, Venomite Poison, 5 minutes, 15 charges. The coolest thing about this buff on my weapon, Venomite Poison, is that there was a private server I played on where, and I knew it was wrong because there's no way I buffed, but there was a private server I played on when you got this poison on your blade and it buffed it, it lasted for 8 hours. And not only did it last 8 hours, it, like, I believe triple stacked. So I would dual wield, I would get this poison on my blade, right? And it would be on both weapons, and it would last 8 hours. And it would stack up to 3 times, so I could stack basically like 6 stacks of it or something. And it was just amazing the amount of, it was crazy the amount of poison damage I was doing with those. But right now, the way it works, the way it should work is this, which is it basically puts poison on your blade for 5 minutes, and it's limited to only 14 charges. But it actually does. Here, let's reset the damage meter. It actually does damage. Let's see how much. I'm going to put my pet on passive here. Let's see if we can apply. Like you can see, we're doing 16 damage. So basically, if you got up to 3 stacks, you were doing 16 times 3. You're doing 48 damage per tick, which is not bad, right? Here, let's go ahead and root this guy in place. So he's taking, it's 2 stacks there, so he's taking 31 damage per tick, right? So keep in mind, having that on 2 weapons, like flurry axes, you could get double stack, you could get 2 applications stacked 3 times each. So now the mob's taking 62, the mob's taking almost 100 damage per second from your poisons, and the thing lasted 8 hours. I was like, holy shit! I wish that was in retail, because it was like would be really strong for a melee hunter. Be running around with poisons on both blades that can do that much damage. So pretty cool. Yeah.
is bleeding from out of your soul. Follow me down to the valley below. You know the light is bleeding from out of your soul. Come to us, rise in us. It's too late for you to go.
Have a good one.
I'm not saying it was your fault,
Although you could have done more.
oh,
You're so naive, yet so
how could this be done with such a smiling sweetheart? And your sweet and pretty face is such an ugly way for something so beautiful. Oh, that every time I look inside, I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. True or false it may be, or she's still out to get me. And I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. True or false it may be, she's still out to get me. I may say it was your fault, because I know you could have done more. Oh, you're so naive, yet so how could this be done with such a smiling sweetheart? Oh, and your sweet and pretty face is such an
I sing badly. I used to sing good when I was younger.
so beautiful. But every time I look inside, I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. And true or false it may be, or she's still out to get me. And I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. And true or false it may be, she's still out to get me.
Turn this damn quest in.
So how could this be done with such a smiling sweetheart? Oh, you're so naive, yet so such an ugly thing for someone so beautiful. Oh, that every time you're on his side, I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. But true or false it may be, or she's still out to get me. And I know she knows that I'm not fond of asking. And true or false it may be, she's still out to get me. Just don't let me down. Just don't let me down. Hold on to your kite. Just don't
It's faster than trying to type in YouTube. Yeah. I can't always see the chat though. Sometimes I'll miss it. Let me down.
just don't let me down.
I do have to log off pretty soon though. Spend some time with the wife.
time to make some sense of what you want to say and cast your words away upon the waves. Sail them home with acquiescence on a ship of hope today. And as they land upon the shore, tell them not to fear no more. Say it loud and sing it proud today. That's if you wanna dance, please brother, take a chance. You know they're gonna go, it's when they wanna go. We know is if we don't know how it's gonna be. Please brother, let it be. Life on the other hand won't make us understand. We're all part of a master plan.
using perjury to myself. I do believe. Up, down, turn around. Please don't let me hit the ground. Tonight I think I'll walk along by myself. Searing arrows. Nice. That's where the tier 0.5 class quest started, but I guess, I don't know, maybe it's not out yet, or it's different for Hunter than it is for Paladin? Trying to get on the ledge. Alright, do the mailbox. Nope. We have no place to go. Thoughts from above, hey, people down below. Alright, time to go. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.